Hey, what's going on? It's me, John D. Villarreal here, the four-time national champion. And actually, I just remembered I need to change the title of this thing. It's not just a reaction. It's going to be reaction and analysis and prediction. I'm going to sort of give my forecast, if you will, first of all, everything you do is at your own risk. I'm not alleging anything, not casting any aspersions, all for entertainment purpose only. Please check all the disclaimers. But I am going to sort of give my prediction for the Fury versus Jake Paul fight tomorrow. And this is going to be over there in Saudi Arabia. This is going to be, I want to say it's diarrhea. I believe that's correct. In Saudi Arabia, this is very, very exciting. Big business too. We're streaming live right now on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. I also want to give at the top of this right now. So that's big business. We're going to talk about that. And the stakes just got a lot more interesting because I believe now, from what I heard, and we're going to talk, there's a lot of things that have happened. If you've been following this just casually, maybe you've been seeing this, I'm telling you, what's happening now with influencers and celebrity boxing, stuff like that, some of these exhibitions, but this is an actual match. And actually, whomever wins, I believe, will be ranked by the WBC. But there's a lot of money, a lot of attention on this now, right? We saw Logan Paul versus Mayweather. We saw that massive money fight there that was happening in South Florida. What I want to talk about right now, so we're going to come back to that. But first, I want to talk about what just went down in Dubai. This was a big deal. Core Sports put on another barn burner. And this was a big event, super matches in arm wrestling. And we saw legends there. And we saw a legend in the making with Hermes Gasparini. Let me tell you something. This was just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to touch on this very quickly. I'm not sure anybody predicted this. Now, first of all, John Brzezinski versus Denis Saplenkov. I was going to do this last night, but it's just too late. And so anyway, it is what it is, and put my predictions out. But I definitely saw Saplenkov, just absolutely shutting down Brzezinski. Really love Brzezinski. Everybody loves Brzezinski. I mean, he's the best ever, the greatest ever. There's no doubt about it. Nobody can take that away from him. Absolutely not. But I think what we're seeing now is a different level of Saplenkov. The comeback is almost complete. And we'll see what Saplenkov can do versus Levant. That match now got a lot more interesting. And talking about the business aspect, because we are live on LinkedIn, the business of arm wrestling. I mean, you think about it this way. You think about where arm wrestling is now, today, business-wise, with pay-per-views and things like that, versus even 5 years ago, 7 years ago, whose radar was it on in the business world with big promoters, stuff like that? Now we've got celebrities, bodybuilders, strongmen, strong people, crossing over, doing the arm wrestling thing, testing it out. Larry Wheels, Core Sports, Devin Lorette, John Brzezinski. A lot of these people have really done amazing things in building up. Devin Lorette has become, in his own right, a major influencer. I think he's got almost, I want to say over 600,000, maybe close to 700,000 subscribers on YouTube. Our Canadian friend up there is doing amazing things and being an ambassador of the sport while also still competing. But seeing Saplenkov being able to handle Brzezinski, whom has beaten a lot of people. Brzezinski had Ongarbayev in all kinds of problems there, okay? Let's not forget about that. East versus West, all right? And Ginterzi's, big event over there. So John Brzezinski is absolutely, again, the greatest ever. And now you had a situation where Saplenkov, the cyborg, was just able to just, really control and dominate that match. And we've seen, Saplenkov getting better and better and better. Now, if we talk about what happened, so that's all the setup. But the absolute headline of this match, and I can take your comments live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. I will respond later. I will try to monitor those a little bit, maybe, as we go, but it may be a little bit more challenging. So if you want to be live on the air, hit me up on the chat here on YouTube. Now, Hermes Gasparini just pushed Levon, redlined him, dude, redlined him, and found the weakness in this. And then maybe not unlike what we saw with Saplinkov. Listen, when he weighed in at around 450 pounds. I mean, like over 200 kg, I believe. It's just unbelievable. Super massive. Hermes Gasparini weighed in at 295, and Levon was saying, I'm going to out-endurance him. He's going to have... That did not work out. Hermes Gasparini is just he is just really has perfected the craft there, almost like just a supercar, if you will, on the table there, on the arm wrestling aspect of it. And he was able to stop the match. Granted, near the pin pad, but he was able to stop the match and put Levon in deep water. Bottom line is, yes, Levon won. Yes, Levon has more power. Yes, Levon is still the champion, but we've never seen this before. I don't think Levon has lost a single round for years and years and years. Now he had a situation. Now I have to find out how the official stuff all broke down there. But basically, Levon had to quit. I mean, in that fifth round, we had fouls going on. Hermes just pushed him back right there. Levon was in King's move. I mean, Levon had all kinds of problems there. We've seen the weakness now in Levon's game. Can he stay at this form? Can he really, how long can he compete at 450 pounds? That is a big, big question. This is a giant of a man, no question about it. Tremendous power, ridiculous strength. We've seen the videos. There's no question about it. I mean, he absolutely is still number one, but number one now, I won't say with the question mark. I won't say that, but number one with, how do I want to say this? How do I want to characterize this? Let me put it this way. Before, people were like, if Levon would have won this 6-0, blown him out, no contest, no drama, no anything like that, then people are like, okay, well, who does Levon face now? I mean, arm wrestling at the super heavyweight super match becomes a lot less interesting. Yes, you have Saplinkov out there, whatever. But now, after seeing this, like, whoa, wait a minute. There's a real danger here. Okay, yeah. That is tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to stay right here. We're going to talk I'm going to get deep into this. I just have to react to breaking news right now, in my opinion, on this arm wrestling thing. Simon, stay right there, brother. It is tomorrow, which maybe I have to find out the timing because it's over in Saudi Arabia. This is a big, big deal. And let me tell you, the Fury clan is out there. The Fury clan is out there. We have so much to talk about with the Jake Paul and Tommy Fury situation. So stay tuned. I'm almost done with this arm wrestling thing here. But I want to cap this off right here with this. And then we're going to get to the Jake Paul thing because this is super interesting. I mean, that fight was like, that was on again, off again. But that fight just got super interesting, in my opinion, this last week. And we're going to talk about it with some breaking stuff over the last couple of days. So they've done a great job promoting this. There's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about, a lot of inside stuff that you may not have heard about that I'm going to reveal to you. I did my research last night. I was up. I was checking things out to prepare for the show because there's a lot of business happening here. There's a lot of different aspects to it. Okay. On the arm wrestling thing, to close this out, Hermes Gasparini showed how you can beat Levon. And now Levon was sitting there with the oxygen mask. I mean, he didn't want to continue for that sixth round. Hermes Gasparini is getting better and better and better. I mean, you could see where if for whatever reason, Levon, loses 10%, 3%, 5% of that power, and Hermes gets another 5-10%, it's a totally different match. Then that's it. Likewise, you see a situation with Saplinkov where now that match becomes way more interesting. So now there's a lot of people that can look at this and like, whoa, Levon isn't invincible. It was not too different than Saplinkov. Like Saplinkov, he was unbeatable, to some degree, or that's, he was very, very high level until he wasn't, right? So when you have a situation where you're, the boundaries, we see it sort of in the powerlifters, the strong people too. I mean, you had, Eddie Hall, Halfthor getting super huge and stuff. And how sustainable is that, right? And particularly when you have to redline yourself, you've got someone that can hit that endurance. And Hermes Gasparini worked the game that Devin Lorat was trying to work, and that's Devin Lorat, that endurance game. But Lorat didn't have that power or got injured, wasn't able to put that in practice on the table. Hermes was able to do that. How good is Hermes Gasparini? And I mean, there's so many different matches now that people want to see. I mean, I really would love to see a rematch of Chafee Levon, Chafee Hermes. Definitely Hermes Levon. We want to see that. Saplinkov Hermes, Saplinkov Levon. A lot of things now coming into view here. I would definitely say Core Sports, fantastic, a great event, great matches. I mean, there's so much that's interesting that's happening right now in arm wrestling. Now, boom, let's switch on this. Let's talk about this right now, Simon. It is going down tomorrow. I don't know exactly, Amir. Easy, brother. Easy. I don't know. I can't say exactly when. Because we have different time zones here. This is going down in Diarrhea, Saudi Arabia. I have to set the table. On this because there's a lot to talk about. Okay. First of all, you've got two undefeated fighters right here. And let me sit it this way. These two were supposed to fight for a long time now, okay? And this is major money. You now have, give me a second here, sports fans. I have to set the table for my LinkedIn audience. This is major money, okay? Logan Paul, Jake Paul, big time influencers out there on YouTube. Like if I were to look up right now, have done so much in the business lane, have done so much, on the celebrity lane. There's just so much stuff going on right here. Like if I were to look, I believe Jake Paul, there's Logan Paul. That's okay. Let's see. Here we go. Jake Paul's. If I go to Jake Paul's channel right here on YouTube, right, the dude has 7.2 billion views, 20 million subscribers. This is an absolute superstar on YouTube, okay? So you have to understand that. This is major money. But he's actually in there fighting. He's fought, ex-UFC fighters, Anderson Silva, Tyrone Woodley. Now you're facing Tommy Fury, the brother of heavyweight champion Tyson Fury. This is a real boxer. This is a real deal. This is a real match. So this is very interesting. You're seeing the crossover of influencers, YouTube stars, and now into the boxing world. This is a real match. This is a real test, such to the extent that, in fact, Jake Paul, when Radio Raheem interviewed him, put him on the spot and said, hey, if you lose, can you admit that you're not a real boxer or something of that aspect? Flip side is, and also asked a similar question, but in a different way of Tommy Fury, that, listen, if you lose to this, in fact, Tommy Fury's dad, John Fury, said they're going to disown him if he loses to Jake Paul. No, some of this is selling a fight, but I don't know. Because listen, that family is all about boxing. John Fury, I believe, was a bare knuckles fighter. Tyson Fury, the heavyweight champion of the world, who just stung Deontay Wilder several times. Okay, and we had the three-peat on that whole match. I mean, Tyson Fury is absolute stunner. This is everything's on the line. This is everything. This is USA versus UK. This is boxing. This is real boxers versus celebrity boxers. Some people question Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury himself was on, I think, this Love Island with his now wife. There's so many different aspects to it. I'm going to set the table on that and what my prediction is, because I look at this a little bit differently, okay? A little bit differently, but there's different layers and levels on this. Tyson Fury, I saw this. I don't know how many people know this. This was out there. Tyson Fury in an interview has put down, I believe, again, not alleged anything. I'm not telling you what to do. Not giving you any advice. Everything you do is at your own. Tyson Fury put down $100,000, I believe, or pounds or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly the currency, but $100,000 on, don't know the currency again, on his brother, Tommy Fury, to take out Jake Paul within the time limit. That's a big deal. Corin, I don't know exactly. I have to find out. Give me a second here. Let me find the timing because it's a little bit different. It's happening over there in Diarrhea. Let me find out if I can see that right now. I'm trying to do this in real time. This is exciting. This is super exciting, dude. This is super exciting. This is really, really, I mean, now it got even more interesting because I think it's an all or nothing situation at the press conference. At the press conference, you had a situation where Jake Paul had his lawyers draft something up. This is going down tomorrow, but again, we have to figure out, okay, I have it right here. It's going down. This is via CBS Sports, and I'm going to put the links in my video description on YouTube via CBS Sports. Okay, this is by Brent Brookhouse, and this is very interesting. Now, it's supposed to be at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. This is now we're saying Paul is 6-0, 4 KOs. Tommy Fury, I believe, is 8-0. We'll go over the different records and everything like that. Jake Paul was favored. Jake Paul is favored, and I've seen some pros picking Jake Paul. I mean, it's very interesting. And in fact, Tyson Fury said when someone was interviewing him, it may have been Radio Raheem again. Tyson Fury's like, how many boxers has Jake Paul faced? And I think the interviewer, Radio was 0. And Tyson's like, there you go. And it's a different deal, right? It's a different deal. I mean, but at the same time, like Jake Paul has thunder in that right hand. He has very quick hands. I mean, hailing from Ohio, I mean, Jake Paul, him and his brother, I mean, they are very athletic, but Jake Paul was definitely, in my opinion, the better boxer and has worked very hard. And he has done explosive stuff. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know the time zone difference. I think from Eastern time, I think Israel's plus 7 hours. I'm not sure because we have daylight savings here. I'm not sure how that, double check that. I'm not claiming anything. Okay. So this is a big deal. So Tyson Fury, they've said that they're going to just, so 3 things that have happened here that we need to put on the table recently. Okay. Within the last couple of days, Tyson Fury has said that he has bet a substantial amount on his brother to knock out Jake Paul. That's number 1. Tommy Fury has said he's going to knock out Jake Paul, but I expect that, okay? Also, at the press conference, Jake Paul said, hey, how about first of all, from what I saw, each side is supposed to make millions and millions. I think Jake is like, I want to say, I have to double check this. I'll put the link in the description. It depends on how the pay-per-view buys and all these things, but I think Jake is somewhere around like 8-ish million or something like that. Tommy Fury is gonna be like, almost 5 million. I think it's like $4 or $5 million, depending on the buys and all this type, the different calculations. Super substantial money, big money here. Okay, this is no joke. This is Tommy Fury's biggest payday, and he even said it himself. He said, "Listen, I want to thank the Pauls." And there's some, they promote a fight, of course, but then I saw like Jake Paul's dad with Tommy Fury and everything. I mean, there's big money on both sides. Everybody's going to win here, but the stakes just got raised. And I don't know all the particulars. Obviously, I didn't see the contract. I saw the contract. I wasn't able to read the contract. But Jake Paul at the press conference was like, hey, if you're so confident, why don't how about this? If I win, I get your purse or what I was going to pay you or something like that. If you win, I'll double it. And Tommy was like, and then John Fury was all like, yeah, we'll take it. And they shook hands on it. This is all or nothing. This is crazy. I don't know the particulars. I would expect that somehow there's, each side had something. I don't know. This is really crazy. So the stakes got raised. So you've got Tyson Fury that put money on his brother to knock him out, that has said that he has claimed that he's bet on his brother to knock him out. You've got Tommy Fury now, but they also said that we have to let our lawyers look at it, whatever. But John Fury said, look, we'll take it. They have total confidence. They say they're going to disown Tommy Fury if he doesn't win. Tyson Fury says, listen, which boxers has Jake Paul faced? Okay, now here's the thing. How old was Anderson Silva when he fought him? How old was Tyron Woodley when he fought him? Tommy Fury, I believe, is 23. Tommy Fury is in great shape. Tommy Fury is pumped up. Now, I do think in terms of the boxing ability, why this is interesting is this is a very close fight. I really believe. I like Tommy Fury in this fight, and I can't believe I can believe a lot of pros are picking Jake Paul. Jake Paul's crafty. Jake Paul has some thunder in that hand, all right? And I think he has the faster hands. I think Jake Paul has the faster hands. And I think if this becomes a tight fight, a dirty fight, an enclosed fight in a phone booth, if you will, then anything can happen there with Jake Paul. But I think that Tommy Fury has been around boxing longer. I think his technique is better. His footwork is way better. And I think both of them have defensive holes. But I think that when it comes down to it, that Jake is going to expose himself on more defensively than Tommy Fury will. I think Tommy Fury will, at the end of the day, be more defensively responsible. But I also think that Tommy Fury is going to be able to muscle Jake because Jake is going to have more success. Or he probably wants to be inside. But you get inside with Tommy Fury, and Tommy Fury is going to be able to muscle you around. And I think that Tommy Fury is taking this very, very seriously. And, before there was different situations where they talked about the health and if Tommy was sick or not or whatever and different things. I think Tommy knows. I think Tommy understands that if he wins here, and he even said it, if he loses, his career as a boxer is basically done. He's humiliated, if you will. And how do you live that down in the family? Jake Paul can lose to Tommy Fury, no problem, and go on to fight. I mean, he's already got different fights lined up with one of the Diaz brothers and stuff like that. Like, there's all the fights. There's all kinds of other things that Tommy can do. Okay. The match is going to be 2 p.m. Eastern time. So less than, I guess, let me try to do the math here, about 21 hours. 21 hours is going to be the match, ABD. 21 hours. It's over in Diriyah, Saudi Arabia. So Jake Paul can lose and be just fine in this. But, anything can happen in this. Tommy Fury also, he has more combinations. Jake is more of a 1, 2, 3 puncher. I think Jake has more power, but I also think that Tommy Fury can take a punch. I don't think either has been really tested on paper. You'd say the competition for Jake Paul has been better, but again, ex-UFC fighters and stuff versus. And Ben Askren, come on, and a tremendous wrestler. I wouldn't want to wrestle with Ben Askren, that's for sure. But boxing, Ben Askren's not a boxer, right? Versus Tommy Fury has fought boxers and certainly has been getting probably training and tips from his father and his brother and stuff like that. The footwork of Fury is going to be better. If Fury can stay at range and pick Jake apart and use that jab, he has a very powerful jab. And he also has, he has these combinations that can really do some damage there. So we don't know, right? The skill level it's really tuned up now. This is a big step up for both fighters. This is a big step up for both fighters. I favor Tommy Fury. I don't understand the odds where they are. Maybe it's popularity. Some pros picking. And that's the thing. Like if you listen to the Furies, it's like, why? This dude's not a boxer. This is, so we're gonna find out. We're going to find out. I think that Jake Paul is a boxer. I think Jake Paul has proven that. I think Jake Paul is absolutely in great shape, is really focused for this. And I think he's done a great job of maximizing his brand. What's interesting, so here's what's great. Jake Paul and his brother have this massive influencer portfolio. You talk about the business of this, and we're on LinkedIn Live as well. We'll talk about the business of this. By even presenting himself as a possible viable candidate here, if you will, a competitor here, showing himself to be dangerous as Jake Paul has, and Jake Paul has put some people to sleep. Let's not be confused. Nate Robinson, a bunch of other. So that has increased his brand, right? That has increased his brand, and he's doing enough things to keep himself reinventing himself. So is his brother. And you look at Impulsive, you look at the Maverick, the clothing lines, the different things that they're doing. They're posting up there in Puerto Rico. They're keeping it interesting. So from a business perspective, Jake Paul wins no matter what, has already won, continues to win here, and has done some things, having that business background and that influencer background, create the offer, the all or nothing, has created some things to get this fight more interesting, because this was there, but it wasn't really on the super radar screen. And for a lot of people for the last couple of weeks, and all of a sudden, whoa, this has become a very interesting fight. And you see Derek Chisora over there saying things. And Eddie Hearn. So much is going on right here and right now. And you see Carl Froch's comments as well. There's so much back and forth. This has become a platform to set up many other opportunities and many other business opportunities and fights. And there's so much that can be learned, in my opinion, from a marketing perspective, from a sales perspective, from a promotion and event perspective, from what they are doing. Some of this is tried and true boxing promotion. I get it, but there are other levels to this. And it really needs to be studied in a lot of ways. I didn't want to take too much of a distraction for the business thing, but I have to do justice to my LinkedIn audience out there. It really, really, really is interesting. Now, getting back to, and I'm looking at some different things. I'm like, okay, yeah, I like what they did here. I can incorporate that, etc. Getting back to the actual fight itself. Listen, I can see a situation where Jake Paul sets up some traps and stuns Fury with the power, but I do think that we saw it before. Again, Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder by far had more power, but Tyson Fury was able to finesse and out-technique him and had enough power of his own to be able to get there. If you are the better boxer and you have the better movement, you have the better technique, and you're able to do some things, it's just hard to stay out of trouble long enough if you have enough power. If you're just a point fighter, that's one thing. But if you have enough power to be dangerous, as the Furies do, and you have great technique and great footwork and great movement, endurance, and it's a different deal. A real boxer. And that's what we're going to find out. Is Jake Paul a real boxer? And from Jake Paul's perspective, doesn't matter. So where are you at on this? I've got some people here. I mean, we've got a bunch of people checking this out right now. Do you think who do you like? Do you like Jake Paul? Do you like Tommy Fury? Who do you think is going to win and why? Tommy Fury was training with former champion Ricky Hatton. And in there, I mean, so there's no question Tommy Fury is taking this seriously over there. What about the travel? How much? What about the other things? I mean, to me, Jake, what do we like? Okay, let's see here. Do I have more comments? Okay, so everyone's just yeah. So again, BIC, it's over in Diarrhea, Saudi Arabia. So it's going to be 2 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So we're about 23 hours away. 23 hours away on this fight. I'm liking Tommy Fury on this. I really am. And but I think it's going to be nothing would surprise me. I think this is going to be a close, competitive fight. I think it's going to be a very interesting fight. And I think that the business aspect of it is very interesting as well. And it's going to be very interesting to see where it goes from here. But whomever wins, the WBC says they're going to be ranked. So this is going to propel the career of whomever wins. And it may propel the career of both of them. We may see rematches between these two, but I also think there's a lot of. So listen, if Jake Paul wins, and hey, Jake Paul is absolutely legit, who does he fight next? How far does he go with the boxing career? How much do you? That's a good question right there. If you're Jake Paul and you win, let's say if you even knock out Tommy Fury, like do you just go full blast into being a boxer? Do you do like a Mayweather style promotion? Like I'm a boxer, but it's the entertainment. It's like, how much do you lean back on the social media? I mean, because if you're going to go up levels from a boxing perspective, the training has to get very, very, very serious, right? You have to seriously commit to that because, now you can start getting in there with some people that are very, very dangerous from a boxing perspective as you are now world ranked and you start potentially contending for a title. And I think Jake Paul says that he wants a title. I mean, this is insane. This is incredible. You think about that. A YouTuber, right? A celebrity who's now potentially contending for a title. But we're seeing different things. Mike Tyson was over there as well. It's becoming the business of boxing. This has revitalized boxing in so many ways. These are becoming events. And the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, right? Dubai are really hosting a lot of these amazing events and bringing the world to them. So very, very interesting for that perspective. Tommy Fury, if he wants to make his own name in his own right, he wants to step out there. I mean, this is his chance to show something, right? His wife's going to be there. His dad's going to be there. His heavyweight champion brother's going to be there. So much on the line. And now we have a situation where maybe it is all or nothing, depending on what this contract says and depending on who signs it. But listen, the hand speed and the power of Jake Paul is going to be there. We haven't tested the chin too much of Jake Paul. We're going to find out versus the boxing IQ, the footwork, the physical presence of Tommy Fury. But Tommy Fury has some defensive, both of them have defensive holes. Both of them aren't super tight on defense. So it's going to be interesting. I think both of them can do well here. I think it's a close fight. But I like Tommy Fury in this fight because I think that the footwork, I think that having grown up around boxing, I think having fought boxers, I think having more on the line when the going gets tough. And I think it's going to get tough, right? This is a 23-year-old man who's very, very, physically fit and comes from a boxing family. When the going gets tough, where's Jake Paul's head going to be in that one? And I think that Tommy thinks he's playing head games with him, and I think they were doing a stare-down contest, and I think this is a very serious thing. It's a different deal, dude. I mean, the Fury, we saw it with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury knocked down by thunder from Deontay Wilder, and almost like The Undertaker, he gets up with this possessed look, and he couldn't stop him. And I think that broke Deontay Wilder inside. I think Deontay Wilder didn't know what to do. I think somehow mentally, psychologically, Deontay Wilder was used to just putting people away with that right hand. And somehow to see Tyson Fury rise up from the canvas broke Deontay Wilder. And Tommy Fury is his brother. And what's going to happen? Is Jake Paul going to be able to stand that test of time? Will Jake Paul break? What will happen right there? Listen, this is very exciting right now. I want to see what your prediction is. I can't wait to see what happens here. They've done a great job of promoting this. Both men can win. This is awesome. They did an awesome job here. Diarrhea, Saudi Arabia. Tommy Fury, Jake Paul. It goes down tomorrow. We will find out who the winner is. But I will say from a business perspective, both have won. And they did a great job promoting this. And it could get even bigger than this depending on what happens tomorrow. You tell me what you think. You have a wonderful Saturday. I'm John D. Villarreal. Thanks so much for watching, the 4-time national champion and the super genius. I'll see you next time.